Scoop out your waist, grab the back of your thighs, and stretch your back. Really stretch. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Feel like the bones in your lumbar spine are just going to peel a little bit further away from your muscles. It doesn't really happen, but if you start to sense that, you'll get a little more space in your low back. Hollow your belly. Stretch. Good, just to kind of warm up. Then roll your shoulders back. Pull your belly in. Let go with your hands, but keep that same shape. Good. Now take your left hand, grab your right inner thigh, and lean back and twist. Scoop out your belly. Just pull away from your leg. Maybe come all the way down on your right elbow. Maybe not. Tuck your pelvis like crazy. Did your hips come around with you like that? Or can you keep your pelvis still? Pull up. Switch. Right hand under your left thigh. Tuck your pelvis, scoop out your belly, reach. Pull your rib cage away from your waist and still stretching through your lumbar spine. If you don't know your lumbar spine or they don't know you, that's the natural waist, the waist of the 1980s. Scoop out your belly. Go back and watch the original Footloose. That's where the waist was.
Joe Ash jeans.
Joe Ash jeans, exactly. Sergio Valente. Breathe there, scoop there, tuck there. Yes, we're very old. And roll up. Sit up really tall. And lengthen your spine. So feel like your ribs are going to lift up off of your pelvis like a slinky. This is very dated. Get taller, get straighter, lift your chest up, rib cage in, and hinge back, straight back, long back. Really strong. Just light up your core. Feel your rib cage pulling into your body. The space between your ribs and your pelvis lit up, turned on. Every cell between your ribs and your hips is alive. Lift your heart. Drop your shoulders. Get taller. Get straighter. Get stronger. Go back 1 inch. And hinge back up. Nice. One more time. Lace up your spine. Straight back hinge. Ribs in. Straight back. Long back. Strong back. Go back. Lift your chin up. And hinge back. Can you relax your thighs? Can you relax your hips? Can you hang on exclusively between your ribs and your pelvis? Can you go back farther? Lift your chest down a little higher. And hinge back up. Beautiful. Now just tuck your pelvis, melt down bone by bone, one vertebrae at a time. Let your arm bones pocket your shoulders on your back and then roll up. Scoop out your belly, hollow your waist, reach your waistband back. Let the bones of your arms weight your shoulders into the socket and then hold them there with your muscles. Roll down bone by bone by bone. Good, last one. Roll up. And we're going to start our mermaid series. So I wanted to teach mermaid the primary, secondary, advanced. So if you're primary and this is your first Pilates experience or your back doesn't bend like that, then just practice the first 2 minutes over and over and over and then move on. So that's why it's on YouTube. You can just re-click it. And if you click those advertisements in the side, that's really helpful to me. Put your shin here. Put your shin across the front. Lace up your spine. Lift up your heart. They're probably going to cut me for that.
You can't solicit your customer.
Okay, so settle into your pelvis. Root through both sitting bones. And then lift your ribs off your pelvis. Lift up and over, over, over. Reach as far as you can. Imagine there's a person that's pulling your arm across. Maybe recruit someone while you settle into your hips. And then other side, lift up and over. Notice which side's easier, which side's harder. Scoop out your belly. Keep your bum down. Keep your sits bones down. So you're kind of stretching away from yourself, stretching away from those really stable hips. Lift up, lift over, get taller, get longer. Switch. Lengthen. Good, so you're folding your spine, you get longer and then you fold in the length. It is somewhat like a slinky. Stretch out the slinky and then bend it. Other way. Up and over. Root through your pelvis. Reach like crazy. Move your rib cage separate from your hips. Breathe. Good. Other way. Lengthen over, 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 over. Beautiful. And kind of push into the back of your head because the tendency is to lean forward a little bit. These guys are all doing a phenomenal job, but they practice quite a lot, and they have for many years. So they're not exactly a true representation of what's likely. What normally happens is something like this. So I want you to think about leaning your shoulders back over your ribs or over your hips and kind of pushing into the back of your head a little bit. Another way. Lift up, pushing the back of your head a little bit, ribs in, shoulders over hips. Beautiful. So that's classic mermaid on that side. You're going to put your legs the other way. Again, settle into your pelvis. Really root through both sitting bones. So kind of move the squishy part of your bum out of the way so you can feel your sits bones dropping into the mat. Lift your ribs up off of your hips, abs in, ribs in, belly tight, side bend, stretch, lengthen, reach, another way. Big reach, big stretch, get a little longer. Notice where in your body stretches when you take a deep breath. Can you hold your waist flat so that all the air pushes into your ribs? So the strength of your lungs and diaphragm help you expand your core. Lift up, and I don't mean out this way, I mean longer. We're just gonna grow, get taller. Side bend, ribs in. Make space for your joints. Up and over, stretch. Imagine again, someone's pulling on your arm away from those very stable hips. Rooted pelvis. Glide your ribs, suck your belly in on the front so you can expand to the side. Beautiful. Other way. Big stretch. Ribs in. Good job fighting the alignment in the stretch, Hallie. That was good. So instead of collapsing and using her chest for stability, she dropped into her mid-back. That was lovely, darling. Up and over. Stretch. Lengthen through your waist. Get taller, get longer, get stronger. Good. Other way. Big stretch. So imagine your spine's a slinky. You're getting longer before you bend. Other way. Good. Last one. So yeah, that's a lot of reps. Good. And back to center. Now fold your mat in half and grab a blanket or a paper plate or something that's going to slide. On carpet, paper plates slide, the cheap paper plates that are flat on the bottom, not the big fancy ones that look like indoor china. You want the cheap paper plate if you're on carpet, and if you're on wood, a blanket, a towel, anything fabric, sweatshirt, whatever you've got. Okay, so now you're going to kneel. Doesn't really matter which way. Actually, it does matter. You want to kneel so that your right hand is next to your mat. Side bend over the right. And back up. So on your right side, you have your ascending colon. You want to squish your ascending colon before your descending colon for proper digestion, to move things along. Over. Good. Now, if I didn't want Hallie to have to edit, I have so many comments right now.
Oh, I was taking a yoga class online yesterday.
Windmill?
The guy totally made me laugh because you would have loved his too.
Really?
Yeah.
Tuck, scoop, hip the
And then I thought, he could learn from you when you were talking about Bunda.
Reach your hips away from your ribs and then bring your hips into your ribs. Reach your hips away and then side bend to slide in. Reach your hips away. This is still mermaid. But now instead of moving from your ribs, you're stabilizing your ribs and moving your hips. So we've switched the stabilizer, but you're still moving your spine. You're still stretching in the same places. Hollow your waist. So if that went well, but it was hard, do that again. If you want to move on, put your feet next to each other, knees together, inner thighs together. If your IT bands are crazy tight, your knees will splay out like that. Suck them in. Squeeze your inner thighs tight, tight together, both hands down. Root through all 10 finger pads. The finger pad is on your palm, like really feel it, press it. Then push into your fingers. Squeeze your inner thighs. Belly tight, square your hips. Slide out, big side bend with varying levels of support from your legs. Side bend, and in, press out. Good. Reach your hips away, bring your hips into your ribs. Hollow your belly. Can you suck your belly in off your t-shirt as you draw in? Good. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Good. Come all the way in. Now set your hip right onto your mat and come down to your right forearm. Legs are out. Left leg crosses over right. Stack your hips, stack your ribs, stack your shoulders, reach up. Strong arm, roll your shoulders back. And here you're in a side bend. Your ribs are folded. You want your body to kind of be like a little smiley face. Lift your waist up into a straight plank and then tap it down. Back into the smiley face. Lift up, straight plank, and tap. And lift. And tap. So you got your side bending still happening. It's still mermaid. Side bend, lift. Side bend, lift. Beautiful. 2 more. Last one. Good. Now put your hand where your elbow was. This is a little bit longer, so if the last thing was hard, a little too hard for you, stay and do the last thing again. Now, if you want to move on, follow along. Side bend, lift. Watch the artwork on the wall. Tap your hip. Side bend, lift. So now you're kind of moving your spine from this little smiley face to a, not sad face, rainbow. And down. Side bend over. Side bend here. So feel your ribs moving separate from your hips. 2 more. Both sides are moving, your ribs and your pelvis. Lift your waist. 1 more time. And up. Now the advanced section of snake and twist, or of mermaid, so now we have to cut that little part. An advanced transition from mermaid is into snake twist. I love this on the floor. So 1 hand front, 1 hand toward the wall behind you or in front of you. Your hands are like in, east and north or north and west, depending which side you're on. Tuck your pelvis, look at your toes. So you're gonna stay in your side bend and then tuck into hips and ribs in alignment. Twist back into a side bend. Tuck hips and ribs in alignment. Side bend. Tuck, scoop. Ring out your spine. Side bend. Tuck, scoop. Beautiful. Side bend. Tuck out. Side bend. And tuck up. Beautiful. Now switch sides.